everything was perfect. Content at last, Bella looked straight ahead, and there, broad-shouldered in his morning coat, standing next to his best man Ben, was Charlie. He was a little taller than his friend, his curly black hair contrasting with Ben's light brown. They had both gone to the barber the day before, revealing a touchingly pale stripe of untanned skin at the back of their necks. He leant towards Ben and said something. Ben laughed and patted his pocket. The ring. At the exact moment Bella arrived at his side, Charlie turned, smiled, and took her hands in his own. Suddenly they were alone. She stood, gazing into his eyes steadily. They repeated the words as if in a trance, quietly, intimately, pledging their troth, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And then a strange litany of words she definitely didn't remember from the rehearsals. Carpe diem, modus operandi, caveat emptor, Draco dormiens nunquam titilandus, she repeated obediently into the echoing silence of the empty church, and then, at last, Charlie leant slowly in for a kiss, his sky-blue eyes on hers, his body pressing heavy against her own, crushing her a little. Her eyelids fluttered closed. She leant forward, her head tilted back, and then he licked her, starting at her chin and finishing at her forehead, depositing copious, breath-blocking saliva in both of her nostrils en route. Spluttering, her eyes flew open, and she saw, not her husband's face, but a pair of deep brown eyes surrounded by shiny black hair. They gazed down at her lovingly as their owner contemplated the potential benefits of further tonguage. Instead, seeing her darling mistress was awake at last, Dolly sneezed with excitement, adding a fine spray of dog snot to Bella's already wet face. "Thanks," she spluttered, noticing the space beside her in the bed was already empty. She dragged her arm out from under the black Labrador's body with difficulty and looked at her watch. It was just past 7 o'clock. "Fair enough," she sighed, wiping her face. "You weigh a ton, by the way." Newly optimistic at developments, Dolly jumped off the bed and bounced up and down, a little too close to Genghis Cat, Genghis for short, who withdrew to the safety of the windowsill with a look of disapproval. He'd been hoping for some appreciation of his marauding the previous night, not this careless and disrespectful affront to his person. Still, it was only a matter of time before Bella saw the mangled corpses and realized how clever he had been. The bare wooden floor was cold and unyielding, but Bella's slippers were nowhere to be seen. She threw an accusing look at Dolly, but didn't pursue the matter as she was diverted at the horror of seeing herself in the bedroom mirror. "Cripes," she muttered. "That's bad." She hadn't bothered with pyjamas the previous night. It was too cold to get naked, even briefly, so she just peeled down to her grey thermals and slept in those. In the cold light of a February morning, it wasn't a good look. She sucked in her tummy and stood sideways. Nope, there was no hiding it. The bathroom scales had been telling her a story, and she could see exactly what they meant. "I'm voluptuous," she told Dolly, who was now sitting on her plump black bottom, regarding her mistress anxiously. She was deeply concerned that Bella might have lost the plot again, the plot being breakfast, obviously, without further delay. "You're a bit bleeding voluptuous too, I might add. Skipping breakfast would do you no harm at all." Encouraged at hearing the word breakfast, Dolly skittered to the top of the stairs and looked behind her expectantly. In utter frustration, she then watched her mistress disappear into the bathroom, closing the door firmly in her face. The shower thundered briefly, and Bella shot out again, wrapped in a large towel that was no longer white and distinctly threadbare. "God, what I wouldn't do for a bit of central heating," she muttered, as she rifled through her drawers for clothes, shivering in her damp towel. Even a heated flipping towel rail would help. Who doesn't have heated towel rails nowadays? It's a basic human right, for heaven's sake.